Hello again. Thanks for stopping by Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode 202. Excuse me. And this time out, we are back at Crosley Field in Cincinnati, Ohio for game number 5 of the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Oldtimer Kings Gaedel Cup Finals, which has the 1961 Cincinnati Reds hosting the 1954 Cleveland Indians. And let's take a quick look at how we got to where we are today before we get started with the game. So the Indians have built themselves up a 3-1 lead in this series. They'd like to end it right here and secure the first or inaugural Gaedel Cup. The Reds got their work cut out for them. They need to win all 3 remaining games in this series. A daunting task, but it can be done, and it's probably going to take some good baseball and a little bit of luck along the way. But that's why we play the game. So let's get to the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Cleveland Indians, leading off in left field, Al Smith. Batting second baseman, Bobby Avila. Batting third, center fielder, Larry Doby. Batting fourth, Al Rosen. He's at third base. Batting fifth, first baseman, Vic Wertz. Batting sixth, right fielder, Dave Philly. Batting seventh, George Strickland. He's the shortstop. Batting eighth, catcher, Jim Hegan. And on the mound and batting ninth is Early Wynn. In 1954, he was 23-11 with a 2.72 ERA, 271 innings pitched. He is a number 2 hitting pitcher, so he gets that card inserted into the lineup for him. Now for the home team, the 1961 Cincinnati Reds, leading off second baseman Don Blasingame. Batting second, Eddie Casco at short. Batting third, center fielder, Veda Pinson. Batting fourth, right fielder, Frank Robinson. Batting fifth, Wally Post. He's out in left. Batting sixth, third baseman, Gene Freeze. Batting seventh, first baseman, Gordy Coleman. Batting eighth, catcher, John Edwards. And on the mound and batting ninth is Joey Jay. In 61, he was 21-10 with a 3.53 ERA, 247 innings pitched. He is a number 1 hitting pitcher, so he'll get that card inserted into the lineup for him. And Al Smith is in the batter's box. Joey Jay's finished his warm-up tosses, and let's get this game 5 underway. And Smith gets under that, pops it up. It's going to stay in the infield. And Gordy Coleman is under that for the first out of this game. So 1 out, nobody on, and second baseman Bobby Avila. Pitch from Jay. And that's a 1-out single right up the middle. Avila makes the turn, but he's going to hold at first. And early in the game, no chance for stealing for Avila. That brings up Larry Doby with 1 out and a man on first. Pitch from Jay. And it is a ground ball to second base. They're going to get the lead runner on that, so it'll be Blasingame to Casco for the second out. And Doby reaches on the fielder's choice. So a man on first with 2 outs. And third baseman Al Rosen. Jay delivers. And that's a strikeout to end the inning. Got him looking. So for the Indians, no runs on 1 hit. 1 man left. We got a half inning in the books. And it's the Indians nothing, with the Reds coming up to bat. And Jay gets his first fatigue point. All right, Early Win on the mound for the Indians. And leading things off for the Reds will be second baseman Don Blasingame. Here's the pitch. That's a pop-up in the area of first base. Vic Wertz has got that, and there's 1 away. Here's shortstop Eddie Casco. Pitch from Wynn. And Casco pops that one up. Shortstop George Strickland is under that, makes the catch. And Casco looks to be favoring his right leg. And it looks like he is going to be all right to remain in the game. So 2 outs, nobody on. Lucky for the Reds, Casco, his injury not too bad. Now, if you're wondering, I am not using the normal injury chart because no injury can be greater than 3 games. I have a makeshift chart that I use. So that's why a 13 was batter remains in the game and not injured for 3. All right, going on. Pitch to Veda Pinson. And that's a strikeout. To end the inning. Reds go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left. After 1, we are tied at 0. An early win will pick up his first fatigue point. Leading things off for the Indians here in the top of the second will be first baseman Vic Wertz. Pitch. That's a ground ball to third. And that's going to be Gene Freeze over to Gordy Coleman for the 6. No, not the 6. The 5-3 put out. And there's 1 away. That brings up Dave Philly. Big hero in game 3. Pitch from Jay. That's low and outside. And Philly gets a free pass. So he's down at first with 1 away. And that brings up shortstop George Strickland. Pitch from Jay. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Jay. And there are 2 away here in the top of the second. So man on first with 2 outs for catcher Jim Hegan. Pitch from Jay. And that's a single right up the middle. Philly's going to hold at second. And now the Indians have runners on first and second with 2 outs. And early Wynn comes to the plate. Pitch from Jay. That's a fly ball to center field. Veda Pinson's under that, makes the catch for out number 3. Got no runs on 2 hits. No, excuse me, 1 hit. 2 men left. We've played 1.5, and we are still scoreless. Joey Jay picks up fatigue point number 2. All right. Leading things off for the Reds here in the bottom of the second of this scoreless game is Frank Robinson. Here's the pitch from Wynn. And Robinson gets under that one. And Strickland at shortstop is going to make the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the second. That brings up Wally Post, Reds left fielder. Pitch from Wynn. And Post gets a hold of that one, and it's going deep into left field. Al Smith back to the track, to the wall. It's way up, out of here, gone. A 1-out solo shot from Wally Post. And the Reds are the first to strike and lead this one 1-0. Early Wynn picks up fatigue point number 2. All right. The Reds are on the board, lead 1-0, and Gene Freeze comes to the plate. 1 out. Here's the pitch. And Wynn must be shook up a little bit as he walks Freeze. So now there's a runner on first with 1 out. And Gordy Coleman. Reds lead 1-0. Pitch from Wynn. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2. Coleman a little late on that one. So man on first with 2 outs. And catcher John Edwards. Pitch from Wynn. It's a fly ball to center field. Larry Doby's there near the track. He makes the catch. And that's it for the Reds, but they do pick up a run on Wally Post solo shot. 1 run on 1 hit, no one left, or excuse me, 1 man left. And after 2 innings complete, it's the Reds 1 and the Indians nothing. Joey Jay, fatigue point number 3. Back to the top of the order for the Indians here in the top of the 3rd. Al Smith, he's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. And that's a single into left field. Smith makes the turn, but he's going to hold there at first. So man on first, nobody out for Bobby Avila. He singled his first time up. Pitch from Jay. Almost hits Avila. And that's ball 4. So now there's runners on first and second with nobody out. And center fielder Larry Doby comes to the plate. Pitch from Jay. That's a fly ball to left field. Wally Post is under that at the track, makes the catch for the first out. Runners are going to hold. So we still have runners on first and second, but now with 1 out. And third baseman Al Rosen. Pitch. Inside, ball 4. The bases are loaded. Only 1 out. And that's going to bring up first baseman Vic Wertz. Pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to second base, but it's going to be an X-check now. The defense was at normal depth. So, where did I say that was? Second base X-check. Blasingame is a 3. And we roll an 11. Okay, so let's see here. Batter is safe. Runner on first is out going to second. So it is a tie game. Wertz is going to reach on a fielder's choice. They get the force on Rosen at second. So I guess that was the only play for Blasingame. That's going to allow Smith to score and tie this up. And Avila moves to third. But there are 2 outs. So the bases are still loaded. Or excuse me, no, we've got runners on the corners with 2 outs. Game is tied, so Jay picks up fatigue point number 4. And Dave Philly's going to come to the plate. Philly's had a great series, especially back in Game 3. Where he was responsible for all 6 Cleveland's runs. Here's the pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to first base. And Coleman's going to take that unassisted for the final out. But the Indians do manage to tie it up. 1 run on 1 hit. 2 men left, and after 2.5, we are tied at 1. Philly does pick up the RBI, or no, not Philly, excuse me. Wertz picks up the RBI. Okay, somehow I left the pitcher card behind. All right. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd with the game tied at 1. And early Wynn's going to face his counterpart, Joey Jay. Pitch from Wynn. It's a fly ball to right field. Dave Philly is under that, makes the catch. And there's 1 away. Back to the top of the order for the Reds. Stom Blasingame, he's 0 for 1. Pitch from Wynn. And another one that's going to stay in the infield. Vic Wertz is under that over at first base. 2 up, 2 down. So 2 outs, base is empty for Eddie Casco. Pitch from Wynn. That's a 2-out single. That one gets by shortstop Strickland and goes into left field. Casco makes the turn, but he's going to hold there at first base. So men on first with 2 outs, and Veda Pinson, who struck out his first time up. Pitch from Wynn. And he pops this one up to second base. Bobby Avila is going to make the catch on that to end the inning. But Pinson seems to have injured himself a bit. And he's going to have to leave the game. He's not going to be available for the rest of this series. So Pinson, unfortunately for the Reds, is out for the rest of the series. It's actually 2 games, but you know that includes this game, so he won't be available for games 6 or 7, and the Reds are going to have to make a change. They leave a man stranded, no runs on 1 hit, 1 man left, and after 3 innings, we're tied at 1, and we're going to have to make a substitution for Veda Pinson, and it's going to be Gus Bell. So Pinson not available for the rest of the series. Tough break for the Reds. And Bell. And he is also a 2, so we don't have to change anything as far as the defense goes. Wynn is going to pick up fatigue point 3 and 4 because I forgot to mark down the run. All right, so we go to the top of the 4th. The game tied. George Strickland's going to lead things off for the Indians. Pitch from Joey Jay. And that's a line drive, but right at Don Blasingame. And he robbed Strickland of a base hit. And there's 1 away here in the top of the 4th. That brings up catcher Jim Hegan. He's 1 for 1. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to right field, and it's going to be an X check for Frank Robinson. He's a 2. We roll a 16. And a shoestring catch from Robinson robs Hegan of extra bases. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on, and early Wynn comes to the plate. Pitch from Jay. And Wynn pops this one up. Shortstop Eddie Casco's under that. Makes the catch. And the Indians go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left. 3.5. We are tied at 1. Joey Jay, fatigue point number 5. All right, so leading things off for the Reds will be Frank Robinson. Robinson's 0 for 1. Pitch from Wynn. And Robinson gets a hold of that. It sends Larry Doby back to the track, to the wall. He jumps, but it is out of here, gone. And the Reds get the lead back. It's 2-1 now on Robinson's leadoff solo shot. And Wynn picks up another fatigue point. That puts him at 5. That got out of here in a hurry. All right, that brings up Wally Post. He's 1 for 1. He homered his last time up. Pitch from Wynn. It's a fly ball to left field, and it's sending Al Smith back to the track where he makes the catch. And there's 1 away. So 1 out, no one on. Third baseman Gene Freeze. Freeze walked his first time up. Pitch from Wynn. And that's a 1 out single for Gene. Makes the turn, but he's going to stay put there at first. Next up, first baseman Gordy Coleman. Coleman struck out his first time up. Pitch from Wynn. That's a fly ball to center field. Larry Doby's there. Makes the catch. And Freeze will hold, of course. So there's 2 away now. And catcher John Edwards. Edwards is 0 for 1. Pitch from Wynn. That's a ground ball to third. That's going to be Al Rosen over to Vic Wertz. 5-3 put out to end the inning. But the Reds do pick up a run on Frank Robinson's solo shot. 1 run on 2 hits. 1 man left. We've played 4, and it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. And early Wynn gets fatigue points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gets fatigue point 6 for the inning. All right, so we go to the top of the 5th with the Reds leading 2-1. It's back to the top of the order for the Indians, and Al Smith, he's 1 for 2. Pitch from Jay. And that's a strikeout. Got him looking. And that's strikeout number 3 for Jay. And there's 1 out here in the top of the 5th. That brings up Bobby Avila. Avila is 1 for 1 with a walk. Pitch. And that's a 1 out single for Avila, his second hit. Sends that one between short and third into left field, and he's going to hold there at first. So a man on first with 1 out, Larry Doby. Doby is 0 for 2. Pitch from Jay. But no longer, because he hits one into left. And Avila is going to hold at second. So runners on first and second with 1 out. Indians trying to get that run back at least. And Al Rosen comes to the plate. Here's the pitch from Jay. And that's another strikeout. Number 4 for Joey Jay. And they're 2 away with runners on first and second. And Vic Wertz, the first baseman, coming to the plate. He is 0 for 2. Pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to second. And that's Don Blasingame over to Gordy Coleman. And Joey Jay gets out of the little jam. So no runs on 2 hits. 2 men left. After 4.5, it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Joey Jay gets another fatigue point. That puts him at 6. And leading things off for the Reds here in the bottom of the 5th will be the pitcher Joey Jay. Jay's 0 for 1. Pitch from Wynn. That's a strikeout. And that would be strikeout number 3 for Wynn. There's 1 away. And back to the top of the order. Don Blasingame. Blasingame's 0 for 2. Pitch from Wynn. And another strikeout. Got him looking. 2 away on Wynn's 4th strikeout. So 2 outs, nobody on for Eddie Casco. He's 1 for 2. Singled his last time up. Pitch from Wynn. And Casco lifts this one to left field where Al Smith at the track makes the catch. And the side is retired. The Reds go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left. We've played 5 innings, and the Reds lead this one 2-1. Early Wynn picks up fatigue point number 7. Dave Philly's going to lead things off for the Indians here in the top of the 6th. Pitch from Jay. That's a fly ball to left field. Wally Post is under that, makes the catch. And that's the first out here in the top of the 6th. That brings up shortstop George Strickland. Pitch from Jay. That's inside, ball 4. Strickland trots down to first. So we got a man down there with 1 out, and Jim Hegan. Hegan's 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. And Hegan gets under this. Gordy Coleman's over there at first base, and he makes the catch for out number 2. So man on first with 2 outs, and Early Wynn comes to the plate. Pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to short, but it's going to be an X check for Eddie Casco. He's a 2. We roll a 16. And Casco, excuse me, makes a nice play and tosses to Blasingame, covering second for the 3rd out. So that's going to do it for the Indians. No runs, no hits. 1 man left. After 5.5, the Reds still lead this one 2-1. Joey Jay gets fatigue point number 7. All right, so the bottom of the 6th is going to see Gus Bell get his first at bat, playing for the injured Veda Pinson. This isn't Bell's first appearance in these finals. When Gordy Coleman was out, Frank Robinson moved to first base early in the series. Bell got some gameplay. But here's the pitch. It's a ground ball to short. It's going to be an X check for George Strickland, and he's a 2. We roll a 3. Strickland makes a nice play, and from his knees fires over to first, and they get Bell by a half step. And there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Brings up Frank Robinson. Robinson's 1 for 2. He homered his last time up. That's what gave the Reds this 2-1 lead. Here's the pitch from Wynn. It's a ground ball to first, and it's going to be an X check. Vic Wertz is a 4. We roll a 6. And Wertz cannot make a play on that, and it rolls into right field. And it scored a hit, so Robinson is on first with 1 out. And Wally Post is responsible for the other run with his solo home run back in the bottom of the 2nd. And man on first, 1 out. Pitch from Wynn. It's a fly ball to right field, and it's going to be an X check for Dave Philly. He's a 2, and we roll a 15. And Philly boots that one off his glove and then off the fence. It rolls away from him. Robinson rounds second. He's going to head to third. And Post slides in with a 2-base error on right fielder Dave Philly. So Cleveland picks up 1 error in this game, and now it's 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And Gene Freese coming to the plate. And the Indians are going to bring the infield in. It's a pitch from Wynn. And that's a strikeout. Big strikeout there for Early Wynn. That's strikeout number 5. There are 2 away. And the infield will return to normal depth as Gordy Coleman comes to the plate. Reds lead this one 2-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. They are threatening. with runners on second and third. There's 2 outs, and here's the pitch from Wynn. It's a ground ball back to Wynn, but it's going to be an X check. Now, all pitchers in this game are 2s, so let's see what we get at 10. Oh, and that's off Wynn's glove, and that's going to let Robinson score, and it's now 3-1. Post moves to third, and Coleman reaches first on the E1. Off Wynn's glove, and it rolled towards third base, and no one had a play. That's the second error for the Indians in this one. And Wynn picks up another fatigue point. He's at 8. So a runner on third, first and third, and 2 outs, and catcher John Edwards. It's the pitch from Wynn. That's a ground ball to third base. Al Rosen's got that. He fires over to Wirtz. And that'll be it for the Reds. But they do pick up another run on early Wynn's error. So it's 1 run on 1 hit. 2 men left. And after 6 innings, it's the Reds 3 and the Indians 1. Wynn picks up fatigue point number 9. Joey Jay, who's at 7, is back out here for the top of the 7th. And it's the top of the order for the Indians and Al Smith. Smith is 1 for 3. Here's the pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to short. Casco over to Coleman. And that's the first out here in the top of the 7th. So 1 out, nobody on. Bobby Avila comes to the plate. Avila's 2 for 3. Excuse me, 2 for 2 with a walk. And here's the pitch from Jay. And this one's lifted high in the infield. And Eddie Casco waves everyone else off and makes the catch at shortstop. And that's out number 2. That'll bring up Larry Doby. Doby's 1 for 3. Singled his last time up. Pitch from Jay. That's a strikeout. Doby a little early on that one. That's strikeout number 5 for Joey Jay. So the Indians go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left. And as we stretch them, the Reds lead this one 3-1. Joey Jay's going to pick up fatigue point number 8. And I'm going to take a sip of my 7-Up, if you don't mind. All right. So now we go to the bottom of the 7th. Early Wynn still in the game. Leading things off will be Joey Jay. But the Indians do have some activity out in their bullpen. And it's Don Mossy who's throwing for them. So if Wynn gets in any trouble, Mossy will be ready. But first, he's got to face Joey Jay here. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball to second, but it's going to be an X check for Bobby Avila. He's a 3. We're rolling 11. And Avila makes a backhanded stab at that one and throws to first base. Wirtz makes the catch, and they get Joey Jay on the 4-3 put out. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. We're back to the top of the order. Second baseman Don Blasingame. Reds are leading this one 3-1, trying to stay alive in this Gaedel Cup Finals Game 5, where the Indians have a 3-1 game lead. Pitch to Blasingame. That's a ground ball back to early Wynn. He jogs towards first base, tosses underhand to Vic Wirtz for out number 2. So 2 outs, nobody on. And Eddie Casco comes to the plate. Red shortstop. He's 1 for 3. Pitch from Wynn. Make that 2 for 4 because he hits one into the left center gap. And he's going to slide into second with a 2-out double. So Casco at second with 2 away. Gus Bell comes to the plate. Bell's 0 for 1. Pitch from Wynn. And he gets under this one. Bobby Avila at second base makes the catch. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. 1 man left. We've played 7, and it's the Reds 3 and the Indians 1. Early Wynn picks up another fatigue point. That puts him at 10. So he's running out of steam. Joey Jay's at 8. He's back out here for the top of the 8th. And there is some activity in the Reds bullpen as well. And it's Bill Henry warming up. He'll be ready to go if needed. And it's the top of the order. No, it's not the top of the order. It's Al Rosen leading things off here in the top of the 8th for the Indians. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Pitch from Jay. And he draws another walk, so they get their leadoff man on base here in the top of the 8th. Rosen's down at first, nobody out. Vic Wertz comes to the plate. Pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to short. It's going to be an X-check for Eddie Casco. He's a 2. We're rolling 18. We're probably going to be rolling again. No, we are not going to be rolling again. Because Casco makes a nice play on that. And he fires the Blasingame covering second. They get the lead runner Rosen for the first out. And Wertz reaches on a fielder's choice. So there's a man on first with 1 out now, Dave Philly. Philly's 0 for 2 with a walk. Pitch from Jay. But he hits this one into shallow center field for a base hit. Wertz is going to hold it second. And now the Indians have runners on first and second with 1 out, and George Strickland comes to the plate. Bill Henry is ready for the Reds if needed. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball back to Joey Jay. And they're going to get Philly forced at second for the second out. Strickland reaches on a fielder's choice, but that allows Wertz to move to third. So now there's runners on the corners with 2 outs and Jim Hegan. Reds lead this one 3-1. Pitch from Jay. And that's a single into center field. That's going to allow Wertz to score. It's now 3-2. And Strickland moves up to second. And Joey Jay gets fatigue point number 9. So, runners on first and second with 2 outs. And it's now a 3-2 game. And that's going to be it for early Wynn. He's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter. Don Mossie's ready to pitch for the Indians in the bottom of the 8th. And it's going to be Hank Majeski pinch hitting. Utility infielder. With runners on first and second, 2 outs. He'll pinch hit for Wynn. And here's the pitch from Joey Jay. Oh, this is trouble. Trouble for the Reds. because that's a double into left field from Hank Majeski. That scores Strickland to tie the game. And Hegan with 2 outs. Let's check his running. He's a 1-11. That makes him a 1-13, and he's getting sent home. And he is safe. And the Indians quiet this stadium and take the lead 4-3 on a 2 RBI double from pinch hitter Hank Majeski. And Joey Jay is just about out of his limit. He's just about out of his limit, but he will face Al Smith, and we'll see what happens here. There's a man on second with 2 outs. And boy, have things changed quickly. Back to the top of the order, and Al Smith, pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to short, and it's an X check for Eddie Casco. He's a 2, roll of 12. Casco makes a nice play, fires over to Gordy Coleman for the 3rd out. But this stadium got quiet quickly because the Indians picked up 3 runs on 3 hits. 1 man left and have taken the lead. They lead this one 4-3. And if they win this, if they can hold on and win this, they will secure the inaugural Eddie Gaedel Cup. And, oh boy. Things have changed. Well, as mentioned, early Wednesday is done. And the new pitcher for the Indians is going to be Don Mossy. He's listed as a relief/starter. 1954, he was 6-1 with a 1.94 ERA. 93 innings pitched. And he's probably out here with the intention of going for a 6-out save. But let's see what Frank Robinson has to say about that. Robinson's 2 for 3. He homered and singled and scored 2 runs. Here's the pitch from Mossy. And a good start for the Reds is a single by Robinson into left field. So he's on first, nobody out. And Wally Post. And let me get Mossy in here. And let me get him here. And let me get him here. All right. So man on first, nobody out. Wally Post comes to the plate. He's also homered in this game. The Reds trail 4-3. Pitch from Mossy. Low and outside. And that's a walk. Now the go-ahead runs on base. And there's some more activity in the Indians' bullpen, and it's Mike Garcia. All right, so first and second, nobody out. Gene Freeze. Pitch from Mossy. And that's a strikeout. Big first out for Mossy there. There's one away. Still runners on first and second. Gordy Coleman, who is 0 for 3. Pitch from Mossy. And Coleman gets under this one. Lifts it high in the air. Bobby Avila is under that, makes the catch, and now there's 2 away. But the tying run is still in scoring position as John Edwards comes to the plate. He's 0 for 3. Pitch from Mossy. And Edwards also lifts this one high in the air. This time Bobby Avila is under it again and makes the catch. And that's it for the Reds in the bottom of the 8th. No runs on 1 hit. 2 men left on. We've played 8, and the Indians lead this one 4-3. Don Mossy will get his first fatigue point. Joey Jay, his day is done. But we're going to do a double switch here. Looks like Bill Henry's going to be the pitcher. But he's going to bat in the number 3 spot. And let's see, what am I going to do here? He's going to bat in the number 3 spot and play center field, which he's not rated for, so he'll be a 4. He would be a 4 in left field anyway. So Jerry Lynch is going to bat in the, Jerry Lynch is going to bat in the 9 spot. And Bill Henry is going to bat in the 3rd spot. So get him in there. We'll get the pitcher's hitting card in there. Sorry for the confusion. Let me find the pitcher's hitting card. And that'll go right before Robinson. Yeah, so leading things off will be Jerry Lynch in the bottom of the 9th. Okay, Gus Bell's out of the game. So let's see, Lynch is going to bat in the 9th spot. And Henry will bat in the 3rd spot. Lynch will be playing center field at a 4. And this will be a 1 and a 2. Okay, sorry about that, but we're back at it now as we go to the top of the 9th. And the new pitcher for the Reds is Bill Henry. 1961, he was 2-1 with a 2.21 ERA, 53 innings pitched. He is a relief pitcher, so he's only available for 4 fatigue points, but let's write him in. All right, and the first batter he's going to face is Bobby Avila here in the top of the 9th, as the Indians are, oh boy, close to securing this cup. Guess they'll see if they can get some insurance runs here. All right, pitch to Avila from Henry. That's a ground ball to short. Eddie Casco over to Gordy Coleman, and there's one away. So 1 out, nobody on. Larry Doby comes to the plate. Pitch from Henry. And that's a strikeout. 2 outs, first strikeout for Henry. That brings up Al Rosen, 3rd baseman. Pitch from Henry. And that's another strikeout. So the Indians go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left on. We go to the bottom of the 9th, with the Indians leading this one 4-3. Henry gets his first fatigue point. Don Mossy and the Indians are 3 outs away from winning this inaugural Gaedel Cup. So leading things off will be center fielder Jerry Lynch. Pitch from Mossy. And it's a good start for the Reds. It's a leadoff walk. Mossy delivers ball 4 low and inside. So, man on first. Nobody out. Indians lead 4-3. We're in the bottom of the 9th. Back to the top of the order for the Reds. Don Blasingame, pitch from Mossy. That's a line drive, but right at first baseman Vic Wertz. He tries to get Lynch, but Lynch gets back to the bag, but there is 1 out. So 1 out. Man on first. Eddie Casco. Pitch from Mossy. Man, that's a strikeout. The Reds are down to their last out. And that's strikeout number 2 for Mossy. The Indians 1 out away from securing this cup. And that brings pitcher Bill Henry to the plate. Well, he, of course, is being called back for Leo Cardenas. Cardenas is a backup shortstop. He's going to bat for Henry. And Ken Johnson is warming up for the Reds if they somehow manage to tie this game. They do have a runner on first base, so the tying run is on base. And Cardenas is going to pinch hit here for Henry. Pitch for Mossy. And that's a strikeout. He gets him looking to end this game. And Jim Hegan runs out to the mound and lifts Don Mossy in the air. The Reds go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left. And we have our first champion in the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Oldtimer Kings King of the Hill Tournament, Gaedel Cup Finals, and that is the 1954 Cleveland Indians. Now, that's the end of this tournament, so I am going to be putting Strat-O-Matic Baseball aside for a little while. I am definitely going to return to it. It is my go-to game. I have some plans with these old-timer teams. It's not going to be another King of the Hill tournament right away, but I am going to eventually play another King of the Hill tournament with whatever teams I have. I think I'm at 15 or 16 right now. I'm going to randomly pick them, except for these 2 teams. The Indians and the Reds automatically take part in the next King of the Hill tournament, with the Indians being on the hill, Kings of the Hill, I should say, and they're facing the Reds. So they'll get to have a rematch in the first game when I do that. That's going to be down the road a little bit. I got some other projects I want to get on the table, including a time travel baseball 1982 World Series replay between the Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. But that's going to do it for this one. I had a lot of fun playing this tournament. Kind of sad that it's over. It's bittersweet in a way. But like I said, we will get Strat back on the table again, and there will be another King of the Hill tournament with these old-timer basic-only teams that I have. But I do have some other plans for these teams in the interim, and I will continue to play Strat. It just won't be the King of the Hill tournament right away. All right, enough talking by me. If you hung out till the end, thanks for being patient and staying with me tonight, and I'll be back again in the near future with another video. And until then, take care.